Boaz constantly dreams.
Optimism is the first thing that comes in there.
Boaz doesn't give up on people.
He's constantly asking himself, how can I build?
He's just doing what he really loves doing.
If you really believe that something should happen, and could happen, and can happen, it's just a question of A, your efforts, and B, siyata d'shmaya.
Yeah, so basically he came to me and said, we're gonna open a yeshiva. Now's the time.
It was clear in my mind that once we were going to dedicate ourselves to the task, it was going to happen.
Since every project is possible and realistic in his mind, because he's so optimistic.
So let me get this straight. You don't have a dorm yet. That's right, we don't have a dorm. You don't have a facility? No, no facility. You have students? No students. You have money? No, we don't have that either. And you're opening. Yeah, we're opening. And that's what happened.
If I really think that something's going to work, so I'm optimistic about it. There are projects that haven't worked out within the yeshiva. When we realize it's not going to work, we stop them. But the optimism is not fake. It's certainly coming from a very real place.
Does optimism ever drive you crazy?
Always.
Yeah.
I never really thought about that.
It drives me crazy in a good way.
Because optimism is something that can be contagious. So if you believe in something so strongly, and the people around you start believing it as well, so then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm sure I get it from my parents. My parents are very positive people. My mother, Alav Shalom, there was nothing that in her life she felt she couldn't do. She always gave us that feeling that whatever it is that you want to do in life, you can accomplish.
You know, Boaz talks about how when he was in college, he was interested in architecture, engineering, and I don't think he really gave up that passion. He just sort of diverted it from exclusively being involved in concrete and steel beams to a larger definition of architecture involving building worlds.
Every kid's a world within himself. Every student is his own universe. Shlomo Melech said, "Chanoch lana al pi darko," that a person should educate each student, each young man, according to his way.
Before I met Boaz, I was a kid with a lot of energy, but not a lot of direction. From the second I met him, I never felt like a child. That only helped me find my path. In other words, that energy which was all over the place, I feel. Over the years, and over the many conversations I had with Boaz, it was just focus.
When Boaz looks at a student, he's not interested in just his mind or just his heart. He's interested in reaching the student as a whole. So I think the first thing that Boaz did was he chose a group of Rebbeim that are each unique in their approach to learning, each unique in their approach to Avodas Hashem.
We believe that all rules of Torah have tremendous validity. So the key in education, I believe, is to find what is that way of each student, what is that personality of each student, what speaks to him, and we try to create a framework which is appropriate for all the students.
That gives students a lot of freedom to explore, a lot of freedom to really sort of explore themselves in their interaction, their exposure to Torah.
And the ability to have an influence on a person's life, his connection to Torah, to Am Yisrael, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is something that is unparalleled. It is the most meaningful thing that a person can do with his life. So that's why I chose Torah education. Do I consider myself a funny guy? Pass.
He's always got a joke. He always loves lightening the atmosphere.
I enjoy humor. I think that humor opens up a lot of doors. I try to create a positive atmosphere in the yeshiva and outside the yeshiva. And I think, again, that's all part of bringing people together. If you really care about someone, you smile when you see them.
A bunch of adults that don't crack a smile, and he'll have them rolling. To bring other simcha is his greatest pride and joy.
I love dancing.
So there we are at a wedding, and he does the usual thing. He clears the way. Boaz goes on his head, and like, what is he doing? And all of a sudden, the two of them start flipping. It was outrageous.
I think just being happy and giving a smile to people is what people need and what I need to do. It doesn't always have to be good humor.
Yeah, it keeps me on the floor.
The vision of Ramat Shila was one that was evolutionary.
This is something that's been Boaz's dream already for 4 or 5 years.
And sometimes we do stop to think, oh wow, this is like Shchunat Yeshivat Lev HaTorah, Ramat Shila.
People really love it here and they're raising beautiful families. And this has become a kehila which I think has a well-earned reputation for avodas Hashem, for unity.
He is a realistic visionary. But there are very few individuals who have a chazon, who are rooted in reality, and have the ability to actualize their vision.
He is not looking for any kavod whatsoever, but he is looking to make a difference for every single aspect of Am Yisrael that's lacking.
Because he cares. Ichpat lo, he passionately, viscerally feels a need to make changes, necessary changes.
We've had the ability in Ramat Shiloh to bring in different types of Jews from different hashkafas, different backgrounds, all together, and the feeling of unity and cooperation amongst the different kehilot, the different communities, is something that is a rarity in Eretz Yisrael and maybe even in the world.
He feels that the Jewish people, that Klal Yisrael, is actually deficient, is ineffective if the entire whole is not working in unison.
If we can't get along with each other, so then what does it say about us? What does it say about our vision?
What Boaz does is he notices what's missing and what has to happen. Boaz constantly dreams, and being his partner, that means a lot of work. Constant work, because constant dreams. He'll come up with big ideas, little ideas. There's no stopping him.
Even now we're working on 2 new neighborhoods. Boaz himself feels that this neighborhood, with his successes, creates a mechuyavot. He's almost like obligated. Well, we're successful and so many people are, gaining from this and progressing in life and everything. We've got to do more of it.
Not only the physical building of the community of Ramat Shiloh, but the spiritual makeup of the community and what it represents should be a model, Bezrat Hashem, for other communities to follow.
That's the trait. That's the trait of not only Bnei Yisrael, but true leadership. An individual who's able to take risks, an individual who's rooted in the ground but is pointing to the stars, pointing to the sky, who's shooting for incredible ideals and for chazon, but is rooted.
He's always been able to maintain his idealism and be able to maintain his energy, and that combined with his maturity and his ability to help students in terms of their growth in the real world is something which is very, very special. It's a privilege to be his Rebbe, and it's a privilege to be his friend, and it's a privilege also to be able to honor him at this dinner of HaTorah.
And it's been a tremendous pleasure to continue growing together and working together.
Mazal Tov of Boaz on this auspicious milestone. May you continue to have the passion, creativity, health, bracha, and siyata d'shmaya to be an inspiration to us all and to enhance Klal Yisrael. Mazal Tov.